For the past 4 years of marriage, Ethan had never missed a lunchtime bubble tea delivery. At this point, it was more reliable than his work attendance. Less sugar, light ice, extra pearls. Wait, Claire, don't you hate tapioca pearls? Since when do you order those? Ethan had known that ever since we shared our first bubble team 6 years ago.
Added extra taro today. Thought you'd like it.
That's weird. Ethan remembers every little thing about you. He even knows about your nut allergy. How could he forget the one thing you always refuse to drink? I stood in the hallway holding a cup. The air-conditioned breeze brushed my cooled hands. This was the 5th time this month. Ethan wasn't known for having a great memory, except when it came to me. No green onions in my noodles, no pearls in my drinks. He used to remember every single one. Maybe he was distracted. People make mistakes. The typing indicator appeared and disappeared several times, long enough for the kettle beside me to start rattling.
My bad. Must have clicked the wrong option when ordering. I've been staring at spree treats all week. My eyes are fried.
Maybe. You've been working yourself pretty hard lately.
Don't be mad, babe. I'll make it up to you tomorrow. Your favorite place. Extra taro pearls, promise.
I stared at the screen but didn't accept it. By 8 that evening, I finally left the office.
Been waiting 30 minutes. Get in.
The car smelled faintly sweet. Inside was a matcha mousse cake, covered in sliced almonds. I was severely allergic to nuts. After one bad reaction years ago, 3 days afterward, he even kept a list. And somehow, he forgot again.
Saw it in a bakery window. Looked good, so I grabbed it.
Hope your wife likes the cake I picked out. Who's that?
New intern, Chloe. She's pretty enthusiastic.
Looks like she picked the cake for you. The moment he read the message, his grip on the steering wheel tightened.
Claire, Oh God, I'm sorry. I didn't even realize there were almonds in it. I asked Chloe for bakery monekimeswe. She says I told her to order one. I should have checked the ingredients. Please don't be upset. I'll throw it away right now.
No need. My voice was calm. After all, someone went through the trouble of picking it out for you. He froze. The air inside the car felt strangely still. You don't have to throw it away. Take it to work tomorrow and share it with the team. Wouldn't want it to go to waste. Relief flickered across his face.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
When we got home, Ethan headed straight for the shower, and I quietly pulled out the iPad hidden in my nightstand. Ethan sometimes used the iPad for work, which meant his WeChat account was still logged in. The screen glowed softly as I unlocked it with my fingerprint. It took a couple of seconds for his Facebook to load, and the moment the chat list appeared, my heartbeat expectedly skipped. A work group pinned at the top. I scrolled past several conversations before finding the chat between Ethan and Chloe. The latest messages were from earlier that evening. Hey Ethan, I finished organizing the meeting materials.
Got it.
Did the cake arrive? Did your wife breakfast tomorrow like it?
No thanks.
His replies were short and straightforward. I scrolled further up. Almost everything was work-related. Project updates, spreadsheet confirmations, meeting reminders. Every now and then there were a few casual exchanges about temperatures dropping tomorrow, don't everyday things. The tone was polite, professional, and distant, the kind of conversation you'd expect between ordinary coworkers. Even the emojis were the default smiley faces and thumbs ups, nothing flirtatious, nothing suspicious. And yet, something about it didn't sit right with me. I backed out of the chat and almost without thinking tapped on Chloe's Moments profile. The profile picture was still the same professional headshot from when she first joined the company. Her ponytail was perfect neat, and when she smiled, 2 small canine teeth peeped through, giving her an innocent, almost harmless look. A few posts down, I came across something she had shared last Thursday. Late nights aren't so bad when there's a little sweetness involved. Thanks for the treat. The photo showed a bubble tea with a straw already pushed through the lid. On the side of the cup, a sticky note was partially visible, just enough to make out the words, extra pearls. Another post caught my attention. Ethan said this place has the best pearls in town. Turns out he wasn't kidding.
Wow, your boss really spoils you.
Chloe had replied with a shy smiling emoji. My finger froze on the screen. The tips of my fingers suddenly felt cold. Just then, Ethan stepped out of the bathroom, drying his hair with a towel. Steam still clung to his skin, and there was an easy smile on his face.
You're still awake?
I didn't look up. A knot of discomfort had already settled in my chest. You said Chloe was just an intern. Is it normal to buy an intern bubble tea twice a week? His hand paused midway through drying his hair.
People do favors for each other at work all the time. She grabs coffee for the team pretty often.
And somehow you always remember she likes extra pearls? I turned the iPad toward him. Chloe's social feed was still displayed on the screen. Or are you too close enough that she feels comfortable showing off the drinks you buy her online? Ethan's expression darkened instantly. He reached for the iPad.
Claire, snooping through someone else's social media isn't exactly okay.
So I'm not allowed to look at her posts. What about your payment history? My voice rose sharply as I pointed at the transaction records on the screen. 17 times. 17 times in 3 months. You can't remember that I hate pearls in my drinks, but somehow you remember exactly how she likes hers every single week. Is that what coworkers do now? His jaw tightened. He took half a step back. and his tone turned noticeably colder.
I'm her manager. She's helped me through some really difficult projects. What's wrong with buying her a drink? I treat other people on the team too.
And do you secretly interact with everyone else's posts too? I grabbed a tube of hand cream from the table and threw it across the room. It hit the wall with a dull thud. You said the cake was a random purchase? You said the drink order was an accident. Then what are these payments? What are these posts? More accidents? Or did you just conveniently leave the evidence behind? Ethan's brows drew together tightly. There was anger simmering beneath his voice now.
I already told you, this is work-related. Do you really have to twist everything into something dirty?
Dirty. A laugh escaped me, but tears came with it. You remember exactly how Chloe likes her bubble tea, but you forgot your own wife is allergic to nuts. And you're telling me that's just a normal coworker relationship? Ethan opened his mouth as if he wanted to explain himself. But in the end, he only ran a frustrated hand through his hair, turned away, and stormed into the living room. A second later, the door slammed shut behind him. I stared at Chloe's post, thanking someone for the drinks. The words seemed to press down on my chest until it felt hard to breathe. 2 years of friendship, 2 years of dating, 4 years of marriage, after 8 years together. Was he really drifting away from me? The next afternoon, I got a call from the front desk. They said a Mr. Ethan had dropped something off for me. When I walked into the lobby, Ethan was standing beside the reception desk, holding a familiar bubble tea bag. The moment he saw me, he hurried over and handed me the drink. His other hand was a Bosch of forget-me-woes.
Claire, I went all the way back to that little shop near Boston University, the one we used to go to all the time. Light ice, 30% sugar, extra taro, no pearls. I messed up yesterday. I'm sorry. Can you forgive me?
He lowered his voice, glancing at the curious looks coming from my colleagues nearby.
Can we talk somewhere upstairs?
I didn't reach for it, so he gently pressed the cup into my hands. The cold surface brushed against my fingertips. Once we stepped into the stairwell and the door closed behind us, Ethan finally spoke. His voice was lower than usual.
I shouldn't have snapped at you yesterday. That wasn't fair.
I stared down at my hands, offering no response.
There's nothing going on between Chloe and me.
He took a deep breath. There was a trace of exhaustion in his voice.
Her father was one of the company's biggest clients. He passed away last year after a long illness. Since then, she's been carrying everything on her own, fresh out of school, working hard and trying her best. I looked out for her because I didn't want her getting pushed around by the team. In a way, I felt I owed her father that much. As for the bubble teas, she helped revise proposal 3 different times, so I offered to buy her a drink. She felt awkward and brought me coffee the next day. One thing led to another, and it just became a routine.
A bitter smile crossed his face.
I'll admit it. I should have handled things better. If any of it made you uncomfortable, that's on me. And about those social media posts. I already talked to her today. It won't happen again.
He looked at me, and there was still unmistakable affection in his eyes.
I booked a table for tonight. Let's sit down and really talk, okay?
After work, Ethan was already waiting downstairs. Soft music I loved drifted through the car speakers. The restaurant was the same place where we had our very first date. A candle flickered by the window, casting dancing reflections across the glass, exactly like it had 6 years ago.
You always said their beef Wellton was the best in town.
With a smile, he cut off a piece and placed it onto my plate.
Back then, we'd share one order, and you'd always give me the flaky crust.
As I lifted a piece of steak with my fork, I suddenly remembered our college days, how he'd skip meals just to save enough money to bring me here. His only jacket had holes worn through it, yet somehow he always made sure I got the best of everything.
Honey.
He set down his knife and forks, his expression turning serious.
I know I've been neglecting you lately. Work really has been overwhelming, but I know that's not an excuse.
He paused, his voice softening.
The truth is I got comfortable. After all, putting in the same effort I did when we first started dating, I took your patient understanding for granted, and that's on me.
The candle had burned halfway down when he reached into his pocket and pulled out a velvet box. Inside was a pair of silver bracelets, simple in design, yet strikingly similar to the ones I had lost back in college.
I saw these at a jewelry store the other day and immediately thought of you.
He gently took my hand and fastened the bracelet around my wrist. I'm not angry with you.
I know I messed up. Just give me this one chance, okay? I promise it won't happen again.
Over the next few days, life seemed to fall back into place. He came home on time every evening, shared funny stories from work before bed. He even turned down weekend business dinners just to curl up on the couch with me and watch old movies. Right on schedule, during my lunch break, a message from Ethan popped up on my phone. He always tells the staff to draw loud-seed smileys on my takeout notes, just like the little notes he wrote me back in college. When I got home that evening, Megan suddenly sent me a video. Claire, I think you need to see this for yourself. In the video, Ethan and Chloe were sharing the same cup of bubble tea. Chloe looked up at him with a bright smile and leaned her head against his shoulder. Ethan lowered his head and said something I couldn't hear. Whatever it was, it made Chloe laugh even harder. She rose onto her toes and moved even closer, almost pressed against his arm. I stared at the screen, suddenly remembering what he'd told me yesterday.
We've got a company retreat out of town. I'll be staying overnight. Yeah, sure. I'll be there.
Then I remembered last week. He'd said he was working late, attending business dinners, going to team events. So all those late nights, company gatherings, and business dinners were really just excuses to spend time with her. That evening, I left work early and headed straight to his office. As the receptionist led me towards his office, I heard a familiar voice echoing down the hallway. He's wearing the tie I bought him today. He even told me I have great taste. Bubble tea? Of course I remember. Same order as always, extra pearls. I stopped in my tracks, a sharp ache spreading through my chest. When I pushed open the half-closed office door, Ethan was staring at his phone. A smile languished at the corner of his lip as his fingers moved quickly across the screen. The moment he heard the door, he looked up sharply. Near the desk, inside the trash bin, sat a bubble teacup that looked painfully familiar.
Claire, what are you doing here?
I glanced at the dark Glen plaid tie around his neck, not his usual brand. It looked exactly like the one Chloe posted on her Moments, a gift for Ethan. I'm here to confirm one thing, and to see if your old habits have changed. Watching his reaction, I suddenly felt exhausted. I looked at him and suddenly felt very tired.
Claire,
No need. I think I already know the answer. Keep this. Share it with your old habits. I cut him off, unclasped the bracelet from my wrist, and placed it on the desk. As I reached the doorway, Chloe appeared carrying 2 coffees. The moment she saw me, she smiled. Claire, you are here. We're having a company dinner later. Why don't you join us? No, thanks. From now on, I guess you'll be the one taking care of his personal things. Ethan hurried after me, breathing hard. Damp strands of hair clung to his forehead.
She practically forced that tie on me. And the bubble pea? She ordered it herself. I swear, I had no idea.
His hand was burning hot as he grabbed my wrist, holding on so tightly it almost hurt. But by then, the disappointment had already piled too high, settling on my chest like a weight I could no longer carry.
Some people don't fall apart all at once. They slowly rot from the inside out. I took a deep breath, forcing down the bitterness rising in my throat, and looked straight into his panicked eyes. Ethan, let's get a divorce.
What did you just say? Have you lost your mind? All because of this? I've already kept my distance from her. What else do you want me to do? Fire her?
That's your problem to deal with Ethan. Once we're divorced, I'll just be your ex-wife. I won't have any say in how close you are to your coworkers or your assistant.
No, that's not it. Claire, please listen to me.
I don't want to hear it. Ethan, this marriage feels like a cup of bubble tea with extra pearls. You know I hate pearls, yet you've been forcing me to swallow them anyway. Because unlike you, I can't share a drink with a coworker and pretend it means nothing. And I'm ending the pregnancy. A bitter smile crossed my face. We'd waited so long for this baby. I'd spent countless days in hospitals and went through more injections than I could remember just for a chance to become pregnant.
That's our child. How can you be so cruel? I was wrong, Claire. I know I was wrong.
His forehead pressed against my knee. His voice broke with sobs, his face twisted with pain and regret.
I'll fire Chloe immediately. I won't even speak to another woman again. Please, please don't leave me. Please, just give me one more chance.
As my car pulled out of the parking garage, I called a moving company I knew. Yes, everything. Can you come tonight?
The movers worked quickly and arrived with their crew by 8 p.m.
The movers quickly began to move. At the same time, I texted my lawyer, attaching Ethan's income records, our prenuptial agreement, and the video Megan had sent me. I'd want to settle everything as soon as possible. My phone buzzed. It was a text from Ethan. The next morning, I received the first draft from my lawyer in my new apartment. I was making lunch when the doorbell rang. Through the peephole, I saw Ethan. Dark circles shadowed his eyes, his suit was wrinkled, and he held a bouquet of white roses. They were my favorite flowers, the same ones he had proposed with.
Claire, please hear me out.
His voice was thick with emotion.
Chloe is gone. I've deleted every way to contact her, and I've gotten rid of everything related to her at the companies.
Leaning against the door, I didn't open it. It has nothing to do with me anymore.
How can it have nothing to do with you? Everything we've shared all these years, is it really over because of her? And what about our baby?
Ethan, your heart already wandered. Can you honestly say you never had feelings for her? He stayed silent for so long that I thought he had left. Then I heard a heavy thud, as if he'd slid down the door and collapsed onto the floor.
I know I was wrong, honey.
His trembling voice came through the crack beneath the door.
I shouldn't have ignored you. I shouldn't have hurt you. Please give me one more chance and let me make it right.
For the next week, he came every single day. Sometimes he'd leave my favorite wontons at the door and quietly leave. Sometimes he'd stand downstairs until midnight, motionless like a statue. One night after working late, I found him curled up in the hallway beneath a thin jacket. His phone screen glowed with an old photo of us from college. The day my lawyer, Mike, delivered the finalized agreement, Ethan came again. He carried a card box filled with the belongings I'd left behind.
I agreed to everything. The house is yours. The car is yours. I've transferred all the savings into your account. I only have one request. Have one last meal with me at the restaurant where we had our first date.
He looked at me, his bloodshot eyes laced with veins like a web.
After that dinner, I'll sign.
I stood there holding the box. There's no need. I've already terminated the pregnancy. You don't have to try to keep me anymore. I've already signed. Let the lawyers handle the rest.
Claire.
Ethan. Let me go. And let yourself go too. 2 weeks after the divorce was finalized, I was organizing files in my new office.
Miss Claire, there's a woman downstairs named Chloe. She's making a scene and says you stole her boyfriend.
Call security.
She's refusing to leave and says she'll complain to management.
I'll come down. Chloe was indeed standing by the front desk. The moment she saw me, she rushed over.
Claire, who do you think you are? You got Ethan to fire me, and now you're taking all his assets after the divorce?
Her shrill voice cut through the lobby like nails scraping glass. What happens between you and him has nothing to do with me.
And now you're taking all his assets after the divorce?
I stepped back, avoiding her flailing arm. I didn't even have time to step back before the world turned brown in midair. The stain spread like it had a mind of its own.
None of your business. If you hadn't been clinging to him, we would have—
Enough.
The room changed temperature the moment he stepped in.
Who said you could come here?
It didn't feel like an argument anymore. It felt like a verdict. Some people don't fall apart. They switch versions of themselves. Ethan.
Take the money and disappear.
Some endings don't need words. They just need payment.
I don't want your money, I want you!
When someone loses control, the room always gets smaller.
It was all fake.
And just like that, the noise stopped belonging to me. Some people leave shouting, others leave silence behind them. I stood there staring at the brown stain on my shirt and suddenly found the whole situation absurd. How could someone act like that? Are you okay? I'm fine. I shook my head and walked toward the elevator. Maybe the stain would never wash out, but that was fine. Just like the tangled past, it was time for it to come to an end. I saw Ethan pushing Chloe into his car. He turned towards the office building, and through the glass our eyes met. There was guilt, helplessness, and the vainest trace of pleading in his eyes. I simply pressed the close button without expression. A year later, at a class reunion, I heard Ethan's name mentioned in casual conversation. Did you hear? Ethan's company completely collapsed. It declared bankruptcy last month. Really? Wasn't it doing great a few years ago? An intern sabotaged him. She secretly sold the company's core data to a competitor. The penalties alone are enough to ruin him for life. My hand paused around my glass of juice. After the reunion ended, I wrapped my coat tighter and headed towards the subway station. He stood beneath the streetlight with his head lowered. Only when he looked up did I recognize Ethan.
Claire.
His voice was rough and harky. What do you want? He fumbled to pull something out of his coat. It was a notebook wrapped tightly in layers of plastic bags. Opening it revealed our wedding photo album, its pages yellowed and brittle with age.
I've been looking for you for so long.
His fingertips brushed gently over the photos.
I went to your workplace, but security guard said you'd quit long ago. I checked our old place too, and the neighbors told me you'd moved out. Claire, I know I messed up.
A sticky note slipped out from the album. It was the milk keynote he wrote for me back then.
Chloe sold the company's core data. I lost the firm, my house, every single car I own.
He grabbed my wrist out of the blue.
The police are hunting her, and I've got nothing left. Claire, please help me. Can we start over?
His hands were ice cold. I tugged hard to break free, but he held tight. Ethan, let go.
I'm not letting go.
His voice rose sharply, filled with desperate madness.
I know you still have feelings for me. Look at this album. Look at this note. We were so good together once. I was an idiot. I wronged you, but I have nothing now. You can't abandon me.
Had now turned into chains he used to trap me.
I've been waiting for you here for more than 3 months.
He stared at me, eyes filled with obsession.
I knew you'd come here for milk tea eventually.
You've been following me?
I didn't mean it.
Some closeness is never kindness.
I just wanted to see you, to tell you I've really changed.
That's none of my business anymore. The word change never demands proof from the speaker.
Claire! Please, I can't go on like this. If you'll take me back, I'll do anything for you.
Some people treat collapse as their final bargaining chain. Ethan, you ended up like this not because of Chloe, nor because of me. It's all your own doing. Some pasts are not memories. They are weight. I didn't win. I just kept moving forward. I passed the milk tea shop Ethan and I used to visit, and I came to a stop. The staff were busy packing orders for customers. I pushed the door open and ordered a taro bubble tea. No ice, light sugar, extra taro paste only. After all, I never really liked regular bubble tea with tapioca pearls. I didn't leave right after getting my drink. Instead, I sat on a high stool by the window and sipped it slowly. I enjoyed the street view outside while I was at it. The sweetness was perfect, and the taro paste was smooth and creamy. It was a flavor that felt familiar and comforting. Street lamps lit up one after another outside, casting light on people hurrying home. Everyone rushed along, caught up in their daily lives. My phone lit up. The group chat with my new colleagues was buzzing about the hot pot ingredients for tomorrow. I wasn't in the mood to join the chat, so I sent a whatever works for me sticker and kept looking outside. Moments like this, peaceful and all to myself, had been a luxury for me over the past few years. I finished the last sip of tea, tossed the empty cup into the recycling bucket neatly, pulled my coat tight, and walked outside. The night wind was chilly, yet every breath I took felt free. I knew I was no longer the person who would fall apart over little things. I'd cut off all the people and things that drained me, and I was finally starting a brand new life for myself. I thought life had finally settled into a rhythm. Then, 3 days later, after working late, I spotted someone lingering outside my apartment building. It wasn't Ethan. It was Chloe. She looked far more worn out than she had a year ago. The moment she saw me, her eyes lit up, only to fill with bitterness and desperation a second later. She rushed over and stepped directly into my path.
Claire!
Her sharp voice immediately caught the attention of the building's security guard.
Look what you've done to Ethan. Happy now?
I frowned and tried to walk past her. She grabbed my arm so tightly her nails nearly dug into my skin.
He's bankrupt. He lost his house, his car, everything. He can't even get a job now. This is all because of you.
I yanked my arm free and stared at her coldly. Weren't you the one who sold the project's data in the first place? The color drained from Chloe's face.
He forced me into it. After he got what he wanted, he was ready to dump me.
That's between you and him. My voice stayed calm, but disgust churned inside me. Don't come looking for me again. Whatever is going on between you and Ethan has nothing to do with me.
Nothing to do with you?
Chloe suddenly laughed, a harsh, heartbreaking sound that echoed through the cold evening air.
If you hadn't clung on to him, Ethan and I would have been together long ago. He told me he loved me. He said he hated how dramatic you were about your milk tea.
My heart sank. It wasn't her accusations that hurt me, but the little details she let slip. Things I'd noticed before but never dared to think about deeply. So long ago, the little habits he once found cute had turned into something he thought was pretentious. Still, I kept my emotions hidden.
Finished.
I looked at her, no anger in my eyes, only complete indifference. If you are, leave now. Or I'll call the doorman, or the police. My calm took her aback. She'd clearly come ready to hurl insults and complaints, but she had nowhere to vent against my cold silence.
You'll both get what you deserve.
She shot me a hateful glare, spit loudly, then stumbled away into the night. Back in my apartment, I locked the door from the inside and checked all the windows. Then I pulled out my phone and sent a message to Mike, who handled my divorce case. Mike replied right away, explaining clearly what counts as harassment, plus the requirements and procedures for applying for a personal protection order. I thanked him, feeling a little more at ease, but I underestimated the stickiness of trouble. What I didn't realize was that trouble doesn't disappear that easily. I looked through the peephole and saw Ethan standing outside. There were no flowers, no gifts. He just stood there awkwardly, rubbing his hands together, unshaden, dark circles under his eyes. He looked even worse than the last time I'd run into him under the streetlight. The bell kept ringing, then it turned into soft knocks, hesitant, almost pleading. His voice came through the door hoarse-y, exhausted, carrying a kind of desperation I hadn't heard.
Claire, I know you're home. Please, just talk to me for 1 minute. I'll say Zay and then I'll leave.
I didn't open the door. I walked into the room farthest from the entrance, put on my noise-canceling headphones, and turned the music up. I reminded myself that opening that door once might mean never getting my life back. The knocking came and went for nearly half an hour before everything finally went quiet. I went to the window and pulled back a corner of the curtain. Ethan hadn't left. He was crouched beside the planter downstairs, shoulders hunched, looking painfully out of place. He stayed there all day. In the evening, I went out to the supermarket to my ingredients for the next week, and Ethan stood up immediately, intended to follow me. I stopped and turned to face him. If you follow me again, Ethan, I will call the police right away.
I have nowhere to go. I can't afford a hotel and all my friends.
That's your problem. We're divorced. Legally and emotionally, I have no obligation to help you at all. Your downfall is not my fault. It's the consequence of your own choices.
But I regret it. I really know I was wrong.
Stares from passersby.
I have nothing now. I finally realized that you are the only one who have ever been sincere to me, Claire. Look, I printed out all our old photos and have been carrying them with me all the time.
Take it away. These are rubbish. You can keep them for your own self-moved comfort if you want, but don't take them out to disgust me. With that, I turned around and walked away quickly, never looking back. I knew he was still staring at my back, but this time I did not hesitate at all with every step I took. They've been harassing me near my home lately, and it's really disrupting my life. Sort out your personal matters, but don't let it affect your work. The company can offer leave or legal support if you need. They've been harassing me near my home lately, and it's really disrupting my life. Sort out your personal matters, but don't let it affect your work. The company can offer leave or legal support if you need.
Besides, we have a booth and speech slot for an industry summit in Boston next month. I'm going to recommend you.
Me? I've only worked here for a year. I've read your reports. Your logic, data, and insights are outstanding. You deserve a bigger stage. Don't let the past hold you back. Thank you, Director Victoria. I'll get fully prepared. I devoted most of my energy to preparing for the summit speech and booth plan. For a moment, I managed to forget the shadow cast by Ethan and Chloe. Yet what was coming could not be avoided. It's a court summons. I'm summoned as a witness in a trade secret infringement case involving Chloe.
You're obligated to testify, but stick only to the facts. You may refuse irrelevant questions. Don't let anyone stir up your emotions.
On the day of the trial, I wore a sharply tailored dark suit, my hair pulled back into a tight, sleek bun, and just a light, understated touch of makeup. Every detail silently declared, I am professional, I am composed, I am untouchable. Outside the courthouse, the morning breeze was cool. I was about to step onto the stairs when a familiar figure caught the corner of my eye.
Claire, you're here too.
Ethan, at this point, are you still worried about saving face, or are you afraid the court will confirm something?
I'm not.
In court, I will testify truthfully to everything I know, including the 17 times you bought her double pearl milk tea, including that tie she gave you that you wear every single day, including the surveillance footage of you two sharing a cup of milk tea. These are objective facts, aren't they?
I saw him standing there, as if the world had already passed judgment on him before the trial even began. The courtroom always feels like a place where silence weighs more than words.
All rise.
Every movement here is controlled, measured. Even the truth feels like it has to pass inspection.
It wasn't all me. Ethan knew. He was involved too.
Fear makes people rewrite their own stories in real time.
Telling the court exactly how you obtained the data.
I already said it. Ethan gave me access.
In court, truth isn't what happened, it's what you can survive saying out loud.
So you're denying any personal relationship with the defendant?
I'm only here about the company losses.
He wasn't lying completely. That was the most dangerous part.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. Truth is simple in wording, but never simple in cost.
Isn't it true that you were motivated by jealousy towards Chloe?
I am already divorced from Ethan. All property matters were settled. I'm here because I am legally required to be.
So your personal emotions played no role at all?
None. Not in this case. They always try to turn women into emotions on trial. I refused to become one. My answers were concise and factual, with no personal feelings involved. I noticed the judge gave a slight nod. The prosecutor asked me several questions about Ethan's company, including their usual project practices and data storage protocols. I answered cautiously, basing my statements on bits and pieces I'd overheard over the years and found while sorting through belongings before and after our divorce. Never exaggerated at anything, nor did I make wild guesses. Ethan caught up with me in the hallway. His eyes were bloodshot. He grabbed my wrist with an unnaturally tight grip.
Claire, why didn't you speak up for me back there? I had absolutely no idea about the data leak. Chloe stole the data all on her own.
I pulled my wrist free forcefully and rubbed the sore spot. The truth is, you granted her access to confidential core data and left the door wide open for him, turned a blind eye to it, all while getting caught up in ambiguous relationships. That alone proves you were negligent and reckless. As for whether you knew about it or not, the law will decide. I can't help you, and I won't. He looked completely drained and leaned weakly against the cold wall, muttering to himself.
It's all over. Everything's ruined.
I didn't spare him another glance and turned to leave. This court appearance was like a thorough surgery. It cut away the last lingering tangled emotions I had for our past. A few days later, the verdict came out. Chloe was convicted of the crime of infringing trade secrets with conclusive evidence and sentenced to fixed-term imprisonment. Ethan's company's bankruptcy liquidations has lentured and had taken on heavy debts. On the afternoon of the verdict, Victoria called me into her office.
You handled yourself well.
She was referring my calmness during the trial.
You made the summit list, and there's a 6-month opening in Boston. I think you're ready. Boston?
New market, bigger challenges. It'll push you further than staying here.
Maybe this wasn't leaving. Maybe this was beginning.
You can take a few days to consider.
No need to think. I'll go.
People rarely notice the exact moment your life changes.
It's good to go out and take a chance, Claire. You deserve better.
Megan specifically invited me to dinner. She was both happy for me and a bit reluctant to part with me. When you come back later, remember to find me for milk tea. It's still taro boba, no dural. I ended with a smile. Between moving, handovers, and preparing for Boston, I barely had time to breathe. I sorted out every last piece of my old life, ready to leave the past behind. 2 nights before departure, an unknown number called.
I'm sorry. I love you. Please come back.
I listened for a few seconds, then hung up and blocked the number. There was no anger left, no sadness, just indifference. The night before leaving, I packed away the last reminders of my old life. I dropped it off without opening it, sending the memories away. Watching it disappear, the last weight lifted off my shoulders. The plane lifted into the sky, taking me away from the city full of memories. I watched the city shrink beneath the clouds, feeling a quiet peace. Boston moved fast, and everything here demanded my full attention. New team, new projects, new environment. It all required me to give my best. Every completed task reminded me that my skills and confidence were growing. Slowly, I started to feel at home in this new chapter. For the first time, the future felt bigger than the past. Everything here was mine to shape and build. And for the first time in years, I felt completely free.
Rented a small apartment not far from the company. It is small, but clean and bright, with a little river view outside the window. I decorated it according to my own preferences, bought several potted green plants, and set up a comfortable reading corner.
Work is busy, and the new product line I am faces fierce market competition. I lead a small team to conduct market research, competitor analysis, and plan promotion strategies. I often work overtime and suffer SPAPs, but every process of solving problems make me feel fulfilled and my ability improves. I have made new friends, including colleagues and partners I met at industry events. We have dinners occasionally, talking about work, industry trends, and interesting daily stories are simple and relaxed. On weekends, I visit museums and exhibitions in my apartment. Of the new product, my excited the company's expectations. I started to learn cooking and try some complicated dishes that I had known to make before. Sometimes I succeed, sometimes I fail, but the process is interesting. I even signed up for a weekend oil painting experience class purely out of interest. In the 4th month in Boston, the first round promotion data
At the celebration banquet, Victoria made a special video call to congratulate me.
Claire, I knew you could make it. How about considering developing your career in Boston for a long time? There are more opportunities here.
I stared out the window at Boston's glittering skyline, thought it over, then gave him my answer. Sure, I'd completely fallen for this steady, independent life I'd built all on my own. When it came to romance, I wasn't closing myself off entirely. I just knew exactly what I wanted out of a relationship. I craved mutual respect, clear boundaries, and someone I could grow alongside, not someone to lean on or a savior to fix me. I crossed paths with David, a project manager from our partner firm, at an industry networking event. He was calm and incredibly competent. He had sharp insights, yet spoke with genuine humility during our discussions.
Do you have any additional thoughts on that market trend?
Actually, I think the market is shifting faster than most people realizes. We wound up working closely together after that to coordinate our joint project. He respected my expertise, and I admired how grounded and practical he was in his work. Sometimes after work, we'd grab coffee together to wrap up unfinished work talks or swap our takes on the industry. Our dynamic never went beyond that. We were just aligned professional partners and casual friends who clicked well. I loved how slow and steady it was, with every line between us clearly defined. The offer came with a promotion and a raise. This city is where I'll build my future. I'm staying. One weekend afternoon, I headed out to check out a contemporary art exhibition. I stood for a long while in front of a bold, expressive painting with striking colors. It looked chaotic at first glance, yet there was a raw, uplifting energy breaking free from all restraints. All of a sudden, I thought back to the old me, the woman who'd get upset just because my ex-husband ordered the wrong bubble tea. Back then, my world was so narrow. A simple drink order was enough to turn my whole day upside down. Now, though, my world has opened up. It holds my career, a new city, new friends, and endless new possibilities. Stepping out of the gallery, I was greeted by bright sunshine. I strolled along under the plane trees and passed a nicely decorated bubble tea shop. I walked inside and ordered my usual, taro bubble tea with light sugar and no ice. While waiting, I overheard a young couple chatting about choosing tapioca pearls or coconut jelly for their drinks.
You know I don't like tapioca pearls.
Right. Double coconut jelly, got it.
It was just a casual little exchange. I got my drink, stuck in a straw, and took a sip. It tasted wonderful, yet I felt absolutely nothing inside. I didn't miss the past, nor did I envy the couple. It was just a nice, ordinary moment in my life. I walked over to the riverside path and sat down on a bench. A river breeze brushes past my face, carrying a soft, humid scent. In the distance, ships are sounding their lines in the opposite shore. I sip my milk tea, looking at the wide-open view in front of me, feeling a quiet sense of content, and there will probably be challenges and lonely moments. But I'm not afraid anymore because the most solid support I could ever have, myself. Claire once got lost in her marriage, who overcautious and stand by her own preference is done the past. And openly say what don't like, and face all the flavors on my own. And that's enough. The sun sets, casting a warm, golden glow over the river. I finished the last sip of my milk tea and tossed the empty cup into the trash. Then I stand up, brush off my clothes, and walk towards my apartment with light, steady steps. Streetlights gradually turn on up the path of future, like the winding river lining and open, leading towards endless possibilities. And as for Ethan, that wrong order of double pearl milk tea, and that hastily ended marriage, they've all become nothing more than a blurred punctuation mark in the distant background. I've started my official continued assignment in Boston. The new role comes with greater responsibility and more complex projects.
I had to build a solid team while living up to the headquarters' expectations and dealing with fierce local market competition. I threw most of my time into work. While leading my team on a new round of market research, we spotted an untracked Nence market. I was thrilled about this discovery, though it also came with certain risks. I pulled several all-nighters to sort out data, analyze customer profiles, and draft a detailed feasibility report plus a market entry plan. After sending the report to the branch manager in Boston and Victoria at headquarters, I felt a little anxious. This was more than just a plan. It was a full reflection of my professional ideas. 3 days later, I got their feedback. Victoria and the Boston general manager held a joint video meeting. They praised my sharp insight and the groundwork we'd done, yet they also set a tough new challenge for me.
Claire, we agree with the general direction of your plan, but headquarters wants to see concrete implementation plans and solid risk control measures. You have 1 month to finish a full pilot remuneration plan, including budgets, sales channels, and performance forecasts. Also, you need to contact at least 2 potential distribution partners for preliminary talks.
This assignment carries huge stakes. If the pilot works out, your team will take full charge of this new business line. If it flops, there won't be another shot anytime soon.
The weight of the task crashed down on me, yet what surged inside me was mostly eagerness to take on the challenge. I'll take this on. I'll handle the plan and kick off partner outreach within the month. Right after the meeting wrapped up, I called my whole team in for an emergency huddle. I split the big project into smaller tasks and assigned them to everyone. My team's all young folks, full of drive but also a little lost at times. My job wasn't just doling out work. I had to boost their confidence and turn all this pressure into motivation. Those days, the office lights stayed on deep into every night. I sat with my teammates cross-checking data, debating strategies, and tweaking every tiny detail of the plan. We'd sometimes order takeaway and hash things out over food spread across the conference table. I noticed a young guy named Jack. He always brought up tough, spotlight questions no one else thought of. I put him in charge of competitor research and risk simulation modeling. He knocked that assignment out of the park. Slowly dawned on me, leadership isn't about handling every task yourself. It's spotting each person's strengths, placing them in roles that fit, and trusting them fully. While wrapping up the pilot plan, I also started sourcing potential channel partners. That kind of work demands extensive industry connections and solid business negotiation skills. I pulled out all the business cards I'd collected from industry events over the past 6 months and shortlisted potential matching partners. I got on the phone and shot out emails one by one, pitching our project and laying out our intentions for collaboration. Most contacts never got back to me, and a handful turned me down politely. I kept tweaking my sales pitch to find overlapping benefits that worked for both sides. Eventually, 2 local distributors, small in size, but well-reputed, showed tentative interest. I locked in meet. This was my first formal business negotiation, so I'd spent ages prepping everything thoroughly. Their questions were straight to the point, even a little tough, focusing mostly on market risks and tangible profits they could earn. I walked them through all my prepared data and analysis, addressing every concern head-on. I didn't brush off risks, but put more emphasis on our solution's unique advantages and all the groundwork we'd laid beforehand. The negotiation dragged on for over 2 hours. When we wrapped up, their lead manager stood up and shook my hand.
Manager Claire, you're really professional and came incredibly well prepared. We'll run this by our internal team for review and get...
It wasn't a definite yes, but it was definitely a promising sign.
I stepped out of their office into the warm evening breeze of Shanghai. I was worn out, yet deeply satisfied for hitting this milestone. I treated myself to a tiny ice cream, sat down on a roadside bench, and savored it slowly.